What's up everyone? I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from the usual theories or what ifs, but I thought it would be a fun idea. Today we're going to be finding the strongest blader from every country in the Metal series. Now this isn't going to be an easy list to make because the series mainly focused on Japanese bladers with a few exceptions. Also, we obviously won't be able to do every country, we can only do countries that have bladers we've seen before. Before we get started though, let me know in the comments if the country you're from appeared on this list. And if you disagree with any of my selections, let me know why in the comment section. So without further ado, let's find the strongest blader from every country in the Metal series. We'll kick things off with Japan, as it should be the easiest one. The strongest blader from Japan is Ryuga. Not really a hot take there. I mean, right behind him you've got Jinga, Kyoya, Tsubasa, Yu, and I'd put Prime Kenta with Flash Sagittario up there. And for my official ranking, I've got Ryuga in first place, then Jinga and Kyoya tied for second place, then I have Prime Kenta, then Tsubasa, and then Yu. So as we can see, Japan is pretty stacked, but moving right along, we have the United States of America. I'm debating whether or not I should include Chris in the American ranking because we don't really know where he's from. I just thought that he looked like he could be American, and the name Chris is very common in America. So I'm just gonna put him here for the sake of including as many characters as we can. He would actually be the strongest blader from America, with Faust coming in at second place. Then I have Masamune, Damien, Jack, and then Zio. I know Masamune is from Japan, but I put him here because Japan already had so many strong bladers. Kinda wanted to spread things out. I have Masamune above Damien because he was able to challenge Chris and King. And generally speaking, Metal Fury characters are stronger than Metal Masters or Metal Fusion characters. Now that's usually true, but to contradict what I just said, Faust is above Masamune in my opinion, just because of his special move, and the fact that he's only been challenged in a 2v1. If you think Masamune from Metal Fury is stronger than Faust, that's fair. Let me know why in the comments, but I personally see Faust's special move as almost impossible to get out of. So my final rankings for American bladers go Chris at first, Faust second, Masamune third, then Damien, then Jack, and then Zio. So another country that's pretty stacked, but I think that covers just about everything for the United States. So we're gonna move on to China. The strongest blader here is Aguma, closely followed by Deshayan in second place. The top two were pretty simple, but third place isn't as easy. For me, it was between Chaoshin and Bao, but I didn't really know who to choose. I'm gonna go with Chaoshin because of how easily Bao lost to Masamune. I feel like Chaoshin would have put up more of a fight. So after Chaoshin, you could put Bao, then Chiyun, and then Meimei. I will acknowledge that there is definitely an argument for Chiyun to go above Bao, so those two could also be interchangeable. Let me know what y'all think, but my ranking goes Aguma, Deshayan, Chaoshin, that's the top three, and then coming in at fourth is either Bao or Chiyun, and then Meimei. China wasn't as stacked as Japan or the United States, but it still had really good bladers across the board. But moving on to our next entry, we're actually going to group together the entire continent of Africa, and I'm doing this because that's what the show did for Team Wildfang in the World Championships. Some teams represented a country, like Gang Gang Galaxy for Japan, while others represented a continent, like Wildfang. And a few teams even represent regions, but anyways, our strongest blader from Africa is Dynamis. I'm not exactly sure if he's actually from Africa or if he just moved there, but we're going to include him because that's where he was discovered. I mean, I think he was born there because the shrine on Mist Mountain was passed down in his family since ancient times, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Dynamis is the clear number one. Then second place goes to Nile. After the top two, there's a pretty significant drop-off with Demore at 3, and then you can throw in Marcus at number 4 because there's really no other African bladers shown in the series. I have Demore above Marcus because of Demore's eyesight and his intelligence. He can analyze a Beyblade just by looking at it, and he can think up strategies to defeat it. But overall, Africa's rankings go Dynamis at 1, Nile at 2, Demore at 3, and then Marcus at 4. The top two were pretty strong here, but there just weren't enough African bladers for the continent to compete with Japan or the United States or China. But moving on, our next entry is going to be another continent. For this entry, we're grouping all of Europe together, but unlike Africa, the show actually tells us what countries the European bladers are from, so I'm still ranking all of Europe together, but I'll also say what country each blader is from. So coming in at first place for Europe is King, and he's from Greece. That's where he was discovered, and it's where he grew up. Second place goes to Julian Konzern, who's from Italy. Then we have Klaus, who represents Germany. And then fourth place is a bit of a toss-up. It's between Wales from England and Sophie from France. But they battle almost exclusively together, so it's hard to say who's really stronger. I'd say they're probably the same level, so if you want to put Sophie first, or if you want to put Wales first, either one is fine. And just to add on one more, I'll throw in Spain's representative who used Evil Bull. I chose him over the Norway and Switzerland representatives purely based on personal preference, so if you want to choose one of the other two, that's fine. I like his design being based off of a matador, which is a huge part of Spain's culture, and I really like his Beyblade Evil Bull. But at the end of the day, these are background characters that aren't even named, so the selection doesn't really matter that much. If you want to put someone else here, again, that's perfectly fine. Anyways, the official rankings go King at 1, Julian at 2, Klaus at 3, then you have Sophie or Wales, whichever way you want to go. I'll just go Sophie. She has a cooler Beyblade in my opinion. And then Spain's representative, or one of the other background characters from the Festival of Warriors. Moving on to our next entry, we have the country of India. There weren't many Indian bladers shown in the series. We only got to see 3, but that's enough to make a list. All 3 of these bladers come from India's national team, Team Shandora, who are honestly pretty underrated. They all use different variations of a serpent Beyblade, and up until their matchup with Wild Fang, they won every single matchup with the 2-0 sweep, and that includes the qualifying rounds. Anyways, first place in India is going to go to their leader, Salhan. We saw him and his Flame Serpent go up against Kiyoya, and he put up an impressive effort. Kiyoya's like top 3 in this season, so I mean Salhan loses, but his Beyblade was able to create fire, which weakened Leon's special move, and his own special move, Burning Barrage, was able to take out the Lion Gale Force wall. So yeah, Salhan's an easy first place choice, and second place is also kind of an easy choice. I have Riddick, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I think he's the second best blader from India. We didn't see much in his battle with Nile, because Nile ended it in like 30 seconds. But I have him over his teammate because Riddick actually battled. If the third member of Shandora was stronger than him, I would assume he would have battled first. That's my reasoning. So with Riddick in second place, that leaves Anil or Anil in third place. Sorry if I mispronounced that. But that's India's top 3. So now let's move on to a region, the Middle East. I'm grouping them together because again, that's what the show did. Kind of like India, the Middle East's top 3 is just their world championship team, Team Desert Blaze. So first place I have Gasser, who's the team leader. It's an easy choice. 9 times out of 10, the team's leader is going to be the strongest blader. There is an exception, just one, and we're going to get to it later. So yeah, Gasser first, then second place could either be Carte or Zidane. In my opinion, we don't see enough of them to separate the two. They're the same in my book. It's kind of like a Wales and Sophie situation. We only saw them battle together. They have a joint special move, but we only saw these guys battle once. So I can't really determine who's the strongest one out of them. They're kind of just the same. So the ranking for me goes Gasser in first place, and then either Carte or Zidane in second place. Moving on, I'm excited for this next entry. I'm grouping Latin America together here, so that means South and Central America plus Mexico. I'm grouping them together because on their own, there wouldn't be enough for a list. Hear me out, but the strongest blader from Latin America is Rago. Now, I don't know where he's really from, but Nemesis awakened in Mexico with all those underground temples, so there's a chance that he might be connected to Mexico, maybe he's from there, or maybe his ancestors, I don't know. And for the sake of including as many characters as possible, I decided to put him on this list. So Rago's in first place, and second place is going to go to another Mexican blader, Tithi. Tithi was found in Mexico, I think, and his Beyblade Quetzalcoatl is based off of an Aztec serpent, so it just makes sense. Now for third place, I'm going to Argo. He's definitely the strongest blader out of Brazil, but he's third in Latin America. Fourth place, I'll go to Ian. Fifth place, I'll go to Enzo. And sixth place, I'll go to Selene. I may be wrong on the bottom 2 or 3 because I don't really remember their battles, but I do remember Enzo having a pretty strong special move, and all I remember about Selene is her time wasting and pulling those cheap tricks on Masamune. So for me, the final rankings for Latin America go Rago at 1, Tithi at 2, Argo at 3, Ian at 4, Enzo at 5, and Selene at 6. So Latin America's pretty strong. Obviously you got Rago there and Tithi. Bit of a drop off to Argo, but solid bladers across the board. And now for the final entry of the video, we have Russia. Now Russia was going to be just like the Middle East and India in the sense that their top bladers are just their world championship teams, but I've decided to spice it up. I really wanted to include Helios in this video, so I decided to put him with Russia just because of this one singular image. He's most likely not from Russia, and he's just with them talking about outer space stuff, but we're gonna include him. So first place goes to Helios, and second place goes to Nawaguma. Although Jinga was at a disadvantage, he was still kind of struggling with Nawaguma. Third place goes to Alexei, fourth goes to Lyra, and fifth I'll throw in Anton. Anton's last because I think he got off-screened by Masamune. Kind of embarrassing. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I said that 9 times out of 10, the leader is the strongest blader of the team. This is the 1 time out of 10 that the leader is not the strongest, because I think Nawaguma is stronger than Alexei. Let me know what you think about that take. But the final rankings for me go Helios, Nawaguma, Alexei, Lyra, and then Anton. So let me know. Did your country or your region, did it appear on this list? Do you agree with my rankings? Tell me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.